Hey guys, it's your girl Kate here, and today we're going to be jumping into character building. I know a lot of you guys have been waiting for this video, so let's dive right into it. Here's the best way to build your character for a Fantasy Ball 2024. When creating this event, I knew that I wanted to give you guys a free creative range with very little limitation, if that makes sense, okay? So specifically, as I've mentioned a few times, if you guys have been in the live streams, if you've been involved in the conversation, as long as it's not political and it's not controversial, you have free reign. We're all for that. We want you guys to really feel like you can just let loose. The sky's the limit in terms of creation and all different types of integration when it comes to your character. Personally, for me, when I'm building a character, I find the best way to start is think of all the realms of fantasy that I love, okay? So movies, books, storylines that you just feel naturally drawn to, and then ask yourself, why do you feel naturally drawn to them? This will really help give you a baseline of what your interests are, the types of characters that you love to interact with, and could see yourself potentially being portrayed as. Once you have that baseline, you can kind of start to think and personalize that generalized baseline of an idea, okay? So you've picked this ideology, you picked this movie, you picked whatever, right? And you're like, okay, cool. So now that I have this, how do I move forward? Think about your hobbies in the real world. Think about what your hobbies would be in that world and take that and apply that to that character. And as you start realizing like, oh wow, okay, if I could do this in this universe, whether that be a Narnia universe or an anime or a book, this is how I would go about it. That creative energy and that flow of ideas will then flow into the character, and before you know it, you're gonna have a character. Now, maybe that process doesn't work for you. Here's another route I would consider taking. Whether you're familiar with the D&D world or not, it has a great baseline for a ton of different types of characters. They have different types of races, different types of abilities for each one, and I can link it in the description of this video to show you guys where you can get some inspiration from, some ideas. Like I said, there aren't really limitations with this ball as to what you can do character-wise. So technically speaking, you're not in the D&D world, you're in a fantasy ball world. And that being said, if you guys want to mix and match different D&D races together, you're more than welcome to do that. I'm not going to stop you from doing it. You shouldn't stop yourself from doing it, because honestly, sometimes they have really cool, abilities that would be epic to have together. So that's definitely somewhere I would consider looking as well. If you are kind of hitting a roadblock of places to find inspiration, places to find, creative vibes to create your character, definitely go check out the D&D universe. Dungeons & Dragons has an endless amount of possibilities for the character that will best suit you for your character for the ball. That being said, make sure that you have a blast with it, run with it. It's not as complicated as I think people make it out to be. You just have to stop getting so much in the technical part of your brain and get in the creative part of your brain. Get into the desires, fantasies, and the sky is the limit. You have no one telling you what you can and cannot do. So when you sit down and you work yourself through those questions, if I lived in this universe, what would I do? What would the hobbies I have be? What would the sports would I be playing? What would I be doing with my spare time? What are the types of friends that I would have? What are the types of places that I would want to travel to in this realm? If I was to create a whole new realm, what would I do in that realm? What would my realm look like? And when you start asking yourselves those questions, the character starts to create itself. When you are simply having that dialogue with yourself and going through and asking yourself those types of questions, it can be really helpful to sit down with a piece of paper and a pen, ask these questions in your head and write down what your answers are. And as you write those answers down, you can pull from those answers to create 1 or 2 different characters, maybe 3 or 4, depending on how in-depth you get with the answers that you're giving yourself. So I hope that this was helpful to get you started on your character building for Fantasy Ball 2024. I'm so excited to see what you guys come up with. I know they're going to be amazing. And in terms of the visual aspect, I also know that we have a lot of amazing artists in our group, on our Discord, and our Facebook group. So if you're maybe needing a little bit of help with the visual aspect of bringing it to life, reach out to them, post in the group. I know that there are people that have offered up their help to definitely help you guys with the creative aspect of it visually. And I'm so excited to see you all kind of communicating with each other and making new friends. So good luck. I can't wait to see all of the amazing creatures at Fantasy Ball 2024. And we'll see you then. Stay magical.